Melanie, no. What am I looking for here? The forensic room. Okay. All right. So for some reason, Krusty Panties was the keynote speaker at her own bootleg fundraiser. And let's just watch this. Unfortunately, you have to listen to her voice. It's painful, but it's just wild. You got to watch this. Okay, so she's an ogre, obviously. The only reason this person has any interest in the story at all, she didn't know any of these people. She has just a deep-seated obsession with me ever since March of 2020 or February of 2020, when she tried and failed to get a restraining order against me. For those of you guys who don't know the history, Google it. Reader's Digest. She used to work for me. She was a pretty decent writer. I'll be honest. She was a good writer. And I recruited her from the comment section on Facebook because she had good comments. That's how I often found writers. She seemed witty. She wrote for me for about a year and a quarter, maybe a year and a half. I don't remember. Did some good stories. Not gonna lie. Definitely did some good stories on that scammer out of Weymouth. What was his name? The guy with the kid, Mikey. He was exploiting this kid. I forgot his name. He was the biggest asshole. That was a good story. There's a couple good stories she did. Anyway, but then towards the end, she started streaming on my YouTube platform and kind of formed her own brand within the brand, and was stealing money by doing ad reads on her show when we had an agreement about like rev sharing. And so she would then, like, it was my channel. I built the channel. I built the platform. She was just on it, and she was just having her own advertisers on there without telling me. And that was a violation of our agreement. And so I called her out on it because she's stealing, and she's like, she was just looking for a reason to be like, whatever. And I'm like, well, obviously you can't. I called her out on it. You can't work for me anymore. She's like, fine, I don't want to work for you. So it's like gray area about who quit. She claims she quit. I claim that I caught her stealing. And obviously you're not going to continue to work with somebody that's stealing from you. Like, it couldn't go forward anyway. And on the way out, she started like trashing, like lying about me to people, like lying about what I was like, lying. And I'm like, what? None of this shit's true. And I responded, and I started looking into her more. And I'm like, I found out that the whole time when she was writing stories on TurtleBoy, shaming people for, being bad moms and shit like that. As it turns out, she was the textbook definition of it. Like, she had 4 kids, and they were all taken from her in like 2012 and 2013, around then, with 2 different baby daddies, both losers. And just like her, right? Just complete degenerates, all of them. Had the kids taken from her. DCF heavily involved in the life, tried to reunite them with her. She couldn't get her shit together. All she had to do was break up with her latest boyfriend, Andrew Johnson, because he was like a drug addict, and they were constantly in domestic disputes, and the police were always there. And DCF said, if this guy's here, you can't have the kids back. And she chose him. And because of that, the 2 youngest kids were adopted out forcibly by the state, adopted by someone else. And the 2 oldest kids, they tried to reunite with them. They did eventually get her back in, but then she relapsed, and because of mental health issues or some shit like that, according to the DCF records. How do I have the DCF records? Because she told the story. She tells a fake story. Like, the fact she tells a story about like a noble person who was just like, I just wanted to do the right thing and give the kids a better home. No, they were taken from her. She tried. The story in the Attleboro Sun Chronicle says after a reunification attempt failed. Okay. After a reunification attempt failed. And I have sources. Who are my sources? Her DCF workers. Like, people in the DCF office were sending me, like, they weren't supposed to do this, obviously, but they were, because they were like, she is a complete piece of shit. And they sent me her fucking DCF work. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, horrific shit, like the worst parenting ever. And so I wrote about it. And she has been on the warpath ever since then. She tried to get a restraining order on me on March 10th, 2020, failed in front of Judge Daniel O'Shea, denied. Ever since then, she has dedicated her entire existence towards trying to take me down, aligns with all of my enemies, anybody I've written about. And just in this they had this thing called Team Storm in, I think, 2022. They made a whole video about how I was going to be taken down for some shit. I don't even fucking know. It's coming. They said the storm, it's coming. Like, it was just crazy. Like, if you look at her channel, I'll show you this. Mafia, is it Mafia Massol or Massol Mafia? I don't even know. Mafioso? Okay. If you look at her channel, another person whose platform entirely came from me, you go on here and TurtleBoy. She took an interest in Karen Reed because of me, but mostly it's TurtleBoy. TurtleBoy edition thing. TurtleBoy, serial abuser, falsified evidence for the court. Ooh, TurtleBoy. TurtleBoy. And she would write about this guy Chili DeCastro sometimes, but it just wasn't the same. Frauded or harasses people outside a pizza shop with foaming at the mouth. TurtleBoy loser. Okay. Web of obsession. TurtleBoy. Okay. And now this is before Karen Reed. She's just writing about me all the time. She was interested in this guy Chili DeCastro, but he just didn't move the needle. He did with like frauditor community type people. They were into that stuff, but like they made a whole thing here called Team Storm. Check this out. Look at that. Team Storm. Ooh. You have nothing to gain with people like this. It's like going to war with a fucking nuclear power. That is whoa. Is this gonna get a copyright? Let me know if this is gonna get a copyright. Whoa. Whoa. I'm going down. TurtleBoy's going down. Oh no. Wow. Oh no. The storm is coming. Wow. Am I gonna get? Anybody know if I'm gonna get copyrighted for this? I'm gonna mute it. Okay. I'll mute it. Yeah. It's just like, whoa. TurtleBoy's going down. Look at this. Is real serious shit. Going down. Oh wow. The storm. It says the storm's coming. The storm is. Oh no. Is what coming? Oh no, it's coming. Soon. It's coming soon. We don't know when. Oh wait, and then it would like it then like what's the storm? And she would give you like some hints in here. Like what's the storm? Oh, screenshots. Screenshots of messages. Oh no. They're gonna get me with the screenshots. Oh no, what's that? Oh no. Oh, there's me. Yep, doing a kissy face. Team Storm. There was a whole team. There's a hashtag Team Storm. Oh, there I am. Yep. Those are selfies I sent Jenduso. Yep. They got me. Yep. Oh, those are my engagement photos. Yep. I said yes. Oh, they got my engagement photos. That's normal. Team Storm's coming. Oh, there's TurtleBoy. Wow. Oh no. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, what's that? Okay. More screenshots of messages. I said I like to fuck fans if you're down. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. They're gonna take me down with screenshots that I can't keep it in my pants. Okay. Yep. Yeah. What else you got? What else you got? A non-ops. She was like so into my sex life because I was married. You know, she was like so into it. She used to contact my ex-wife all the time. And it was just like, she was like, who is this crazy person messaging me? Just whatever. She's like retarded. Just whatever. It's like, he's having extramarital affairs. She was like so prude about it. Like she was so obsessed with like who I was hooking up with, like wanted to know everything about it. Everything about it. And, you know, it was just crazy. And then she teamed up with Jenduso. And, you know, it was obviously whatever, you know. What else do we have here? Oh, those are the engagement photos. Nice, normal. Okay. More pictures. Okay, yeah. Oh, more screenshots. What's this one? What? I don't even know who sent that. Okay. All right, what's this? The storm is coming. The storm is. There's my son screaming. They have a video of my son. They have my son screaming. So there's a video out there, unfortunately, that Shannon LeBerry, who runs that page, she runs this Twitter account called like TurtleBoy Secrets. She is obsessed with me and has been for years. Like if you look at her entire Shannon LeBerry used to hate Kate Peter and Leah Jenduso, used to support me, then switched sides and became Kate Peters like wants to suck up to her and be your best friend and stuff like that. And one of the videos, so there was this incident that happened when I was hooking up with Jenduso back in the day. I'm like, my son was 3, I think at the time, and he was a crier. And I'm like, he would just cry when he would wake up from a nap. Oh boy, better watch out. And I'm like, okay. He would wake up and start screaming and crying for no reason at all. You're like, just there's nothing you could do. I want mommy. I want mommy. Okay, mommy's not here right now. I want mommy. Okay, and like I was messaging Jenduso. I'm like, oh, my son's screaming again. He's having one of his tantrums. And I took a video of him going nuts and I sent it to her. And I'm like, this is what I'm dealing with right now. Look at this shit's crazy. And she then sent that video to Dump Truck, Shannon LeBerry, who then has played it over and over again on her page. And it's like, this is child abuse. A kid having a tantrum that I didn't give into is child abuse, which shows how little they know about like raising children. Anyone who raises children knows when a child is screaming and having a tantrum like that, you don't give into it. Like they'll last a lot. First of all, there's nothing I could do to correct the tantrum. He wanted mommy. Mommy's not home. Mommy's not going to be home for a bit. There is nothing he wanted mommy and nothing, like that's what he wanted. I can't provide that to him at the moment. So there's nothing I could do, right? To stop him. There's nothing I could do. And of course, these idiots have, shared it. You know what a scumbag you have to be to do something like that, though? To share a screaming video of a 3-year-old like that, which is just like, who shares a video of a child like that for the world to see? I sent that to one woman who I was in an extramarital relationship with, but I was also friends with her. It's like, and I didn't think it was a big deal. It's not a big deal. Like, this is what I'm dealing with right now. That person then sent it out to her. That's the kind of person Leah Jenduso is. Leah Jenduso is the kind of person who sends a video of a 3-year-old having a temper tantrum to a person named Dump Truck so that they can then share that video and exploit the 3-year-old because fuck kids. That's the way they think about kids. I mean, it's sick. These people are absolutely deranged to do that to a kid, right? Absolutely fucking deranged. Wow. Wow. Awesome. Glad to see that. That's awesome. What does it say? If I straight up, what does that say? Something about I'm married. It's like, what does that one say? I always wanted to see these. I used to like look at these and be like, wait, what do they have on me? What do they got? I like to fuck. That's not true. That's not true. I would never do that. I don't do that.
Mommy's at cheering practice.
Mommy's at cheering practice. Like, why would you do that? And they share my son crying. Like, who does that?
That's a fake cry.
It was a fake cry. And I don't give into tantrums. So, I mean, who does that? Who does that shit? That's insane. Absolutely fucking insane. Anyway, why even give her this attention? My whole point is my point is that this is the person who the McAlberts have chosen to align themselves with. Somebody who does something like that, right? Who does this to her own kids. And by the way, she also defamed Lucky Lochran today. And like, I want to remind anyone who is associating with this person exactly who she is. You're going to own her. You're going to own all of it. All of it. Like, if you're down with this, you're down with this. All that. So apparently today, let me see here. Let's see. She wrote something about Lucky. O'Keefe supporters call out TurtleBoy's interview contradictions. What interview? Huh? Don't worry, Turtle Tankers. He did assure you this is all by design. Lying to reporters is all by design. Nope, that's not what I meant by design. You'll see. You'll see. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. So look at this. She says Lucky Lochran was accused of molesting a kid at a hockey rink. And no one has ever told him to stop leaving his house. He goes out in public and experiences no scorn or harassment. They all do. But hey, I protected him. What? I just let the blackmail Carney was holding over his head way back fly. So now it can't be used against him in the future. So they're saying I was blackmailing Lucky Lochran? What? Huh? And you're right. Like, in response to this, like, protect the real witness. Like, these are the witnesses who have been harassed, right? Who do we have here? We got Karina Kolakithis. Is that her husband? I think it is. I can't tell, but they should have Dr. Wolf up here. His wife was harassed. He was harassed about his wife. Lucky Lochran, the Beaties, Tom and his daughter Erin, right? They're the ones that have been harassed. So, I mean, this is how disgusting they are. To say that Lucky Lochran was accused of like, no, he wasn't. No one has ever accused him of that. Just disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. And this is the person who the McAlberts have chosen to be their spokesperson. So here she is.
You know what? I'm almost glad in a way that this happened, because that's something that I wanted to talk about. You know, I'm so honored to be in the room with each and every one of you. And I'm going to talk about fear, right? Because
count how many times she says, right. I'm going to talk about fear. Right. Yeah, Lucky testified under oath that I never intimidated him. This is nonsense about, like, they just make it all up. Like, it's crazy. Like, I intimidated Lucky Lochran. Pardon me. I had never spoken to Lucky Lochran until August of 2023. How could I intimidate him prior to that? But anyway.
the biggest thing that I think we've been fighting against here is this fear. This fear that's been cultivated in so many people. I'm afraid to show my support. I'm afraid to go out. I watch people overcome their fear walking into the parking lot to come in here today. And for that, for all you people that overcame that fear, thank you. Because that's huge. That is huge.
To be very clear, no one has ever been in fear of any of this shit. And I'm glad she said everything she said in this, because this just proves that none of them fear anything. They're not intimidated at all. Except, you know, the only people that should be in fear are children who live under her roof. They should definitely be in fear. Like, their chances of them like swallowing glue are extremely high.
We don't need to be afraid of anything at this point. It is a phantom that is being created to create this illusion that if you do the right thing, there's something wrong with you. You should be shamed. There's some sort of ramification lurking in the distance. And there's not.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing. There's nothing to fear by testifying. There's nothing to. Exactly. There's nothing to. I mean, I fear she should get some hubcaps and a stylist, but other than that, there's nothing to fear.
You know, this started for me in April of 2023. I got some emails from a family, you know, the O'Keefe family, so distant relatives. But
that never happened. She did not get any emails from distant relatives of the O'Keefes when I started covering this in April 2023. That's just a complete and total lie. A complete and total lie. That's her best outfit. This is like dressed up for her. Like, so no one from the O'Keefe family she acted like she was called upon to take this up. No. She was obsessed with me. I first started writing about this, and all of a sudden, no one's paying attention to her bullshit and her fake rivalry with me, and nobody's listening to her. Nobody even knew what Krusty Panties was for many, many months. Nobody's watching her channel. Like, she used to, if you go, let me show you, like, let's go back and look at her channel during that time, and you'll see just how little people were paying attention to anything she said. Like, there is no way in which anyone could have been watching. Like, the McAlberts wouldn't have any idea who she is. None. Let's see. Let's see here. TurtleBoy runs with fake info. Okay, so these are the kind of things she used to do. On New Year's Eve, she streamed herself going around and just asking random people if they've heard of,
like 15 minutes.
if they've heard.
We've been live for 7. Gonna pour a little out for our homie.
What?
Oh no, I don't know about that. Really? That's lame.
Hold on.
We're on High Street and more than one.
I think he's gonna make. Okay, do it. Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Like, this is what she was putting out like a month before April 2023. Why would anyone from the O'Keefe contact her? Like, no one's watching this. This is her walking around Boston asking random people if they've heard of TurtleBoy.
I'm afraid I'm gonna knock myself out. Honestly, it's like pouring too.
With dump
But
truck.
it's not snowing and we're not freaking soaked.
So
sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Boston is very nice as compared to New York City.
Oh my God.
Yes, in spirit.
my whole life has been close calls. That's fine.
This dump truck. That's dump
It's
truck.
like,
Use the sidewalk here.
what? I want you to guess what I was talking. I'm not 21% because I planned poorly.
I'm so much shorter than you, though. I can't
And right now we are auditing them.
Titties bouncing in the breeze.
What?
Rough lighting.
Oh my god.
Oh, your phone's all wet. I don't think your default is coming like.
I try to read like an old person.
We're also proud of the Disney princess. Right now, it's flawless. We're
Yeah.
No, that's dump truck. That's dump truck. Dump truck lives in Section 8 housing in Medfield somewhere. Go back and read the dump truck stories. Talk about complete train wreck, that one. Obsessed. Like top five TurtleBoy derangement syndrome of all time.
For me, should run umbrella, but didn't have my head.
Yeah, that's because I'm like, you can't. There's Applebee's in there.
Yeah, there's an chili low egg.
No Applebee's.
Oh, okay.
The shortest one.
Yeah. So chili angle. Love you, Shiz. She said she's like.
All right, who is
Set
that?
herself a wrench, but that's fine. With ice cream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting to get stuck in the rain.
Yeah.
Let's walk up.
Where are all the drums? You want to know where the most drums are?
Oh, perfect.
So, go over the block, take a left. Yeah, that's it. The next stop. The door guy not only saying, please come on.
Drowning right now.
That's like weird. My coat. No, rain.
Anyway.
All right, go back to fucking pictures of it.
Anyway, so my point is, this is the kind of shit that she was making. Why would somebody in the O'Keefe family reach out to her? Like, they don't even know who she is, right? And then first time she ever wrote about the Karen Reed thing or did anything on the Karen Reed was this. This was May 21st, 2023. It was the first time she ever did anything on Karen Reed. So why would somebody in the O'Keefe family reach out to her in April of 2023? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Like, the O'Keefe, let me get this straight. I start writing about April 18th, 2023. The O'Keefe family needs somebody to take up their side of the story. Not that I was adversarial to the O'Keefes, it was mostly the McAlberts, but whatever. They're looking for somebody to take up their side of the story. And they're like, oh, I know. Mafia Masshole, the woman who lost her kids and is obsessed with something called Chili de Castro on YouTube. Let's get her. She'll be good. No.
And it got out, so it's since been impounded, but that's not going to stop Aiden from continuing to. And he was in court, so he heard the court say that it should have been impounded by statute. He's aware of that. He's aware that the DA even brought it up because, because of the needs and desires of the family. He doesn't care. He's been told by the family at this point on more than one occasion that they would appreciate that he not post the autopsy photos. He's even gone so far as to now write a blog where he shows screenshots of one of the victim's family members asking that he not show the autopsy photos, and then 2 lines or maybe a paragraph below that shows the autopsy photos again. So you're a good person. Sure got the moral superiority up on us. You're a great guy.
I'm really trying to like keep it at least as respectful as I can.
What?
But
And just listen to this commentary.
Some people have never. How do I word this? Without, I don't want to disrespect the family. You know what I mean?
What?
Some people have never gotten tuned up, and it shows.
Right.
Huh? Right.
All right. So this is more witnesses that they interviewed that just stated they were at the bar. They know the victim for 5 to 6 years. They don't really know the defendant. Again, these are all his friends. They're not her friends.
And so she just reads court documents. I promise anonymity to sources. I'm going to give anonymity to sources. Karen Reed was a source of information. She goes, no, it's different because she's a murder defendant. That's what she told me. It's different because she's a murder defendant. So I must have missed that day in journalism school, First Amendment school, that you're allowed to give anonymity to your sources unless they're defendants. Oh, I missed that one. Thanks, Gretchen. Thanks for that. Then she asked me, when was the first time, I spoke with the lawyers, and did Alan Jackson tell you about the federal investigation? Yeah, him and I talked about the federal investigation. I've been over this before. Like, I'm like, what? Why don't you just go and listen to Julie Carpenter? Let's go fucking look at, she's got the fucking archives. Just go watch. That's where you're getting your information from anyway. What are you just trying to trip me up on something here? I'm almost positive that the first time I found out about the federal investigation was from Natalie, but who gives a fuck who told me about the federal investigation? Yeah, and then of course, when I started speaking to her lawyers, they're also fucking sources, by the way, who wanted anonymity. And when you have the defense attorney for the murder defendant, you are the guy. You are the most important. I was anointed most important journalist in the country immediately by them because I was so fucking good at it. They didn't know who I was, but they were so impressed by my work. And they're like, Jesus Christ, this guy wants to report the truth. Holy shit. What a novel concept. Yeah, we'll talk to him. And so I got Alan Jackson on the phone by April 20th. And he confirmed to me, yeah, there's a federal investigation going on. How would he know this? I don't fucking know. But he said that there was, he could confirm this. So there you go. So he confirmed it. I report on it. And then he cited my reporting in court. Where's the illegal part there? She's like looking for something. And I'm like, but there was a federal investigation. But there was a federal, like, is he supposed to keep that a secret? He was under no obligation to keep that a secret. The only reason he would want to distance himself from that is to not offend the feds, right? If the feds were like, you're fucking talking, like you're telling TurtleBoy about this, they might be like, dude, chill. But at the end of the day, it's not illegal. Like, where's the illegal part? Like, where's the, like, you're looking, there's no there. In her mind, and this is the basis of their stupid lawsuit, and this is like your brain on Plevin. The United States Attorney's Office conspired with the dastardly Karen Reed and something called TurtleBoy to frame the McAlberts, the state police, and the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. Because, fuck it. They just like to see guilty people go free, and they don't like Michael Morrissey for some reason. And they're just going to frame him for covering up a murder, just frame him for it, for no reason. Other than pure love, just for me, because I'm fucking so powerful. I mean, this is insane. And they call us conspiracy theorists. And here we have this alleged reporter asking me these fucking questions. Asking me, did Alan Jackson tell you about the federal investigation? Who cares? The fuck does that have to do with anything? Did Alan Jackson want you to write about the federal investigation? I don't fucking know. Ask him. Get in his mind. If you were Alan Jackson, would you want a reporter to write about the federal investigation? Probably. If I were him, I would want somebody to write about that, right? And she's like, did you write about it because Alan Jackson told you to? No, bitch. I wrote about it because it's the story of a lifetime. And that's what reporters do. That's called a scoop. In journalism school, that's called a scoop. I got a big scoop. I found out that the United States Attorney's Office was investigating the investigation of a Boston police officer's murder. And that they had hired, I didn't even know this yet, that they had hired independent experts from a company called ARCA who determined that John O'Keefe's injuries were inconsistent with the motor vehicle collision and that the damage to the motor vehicle was inconsistent with the pedestrian strike. That's what the FBI determined, right? Prior to my involvement, unbeknownst to me at the time, the FBI had come to the homes of Jennifer McCabe and the dorm room of Colin Albert with subpoenas. So the FBI was already on this. That was a fact. That was fact. That's called factual reporting. Factual reporting. Okay. So she goes, so you know her lawyers went to the FBI. Do you know the details around that? I mean, again, this is the questions you're asking, Gretchen. So I know the lawyers went to the FBI. Yeah, I do know that. Because that's what you do when you want to report a crime. You call the police. When the police commit a crime, you call the police who police the police, and that's the FBI. Who the fuck, what are they supposed to call? Ghostbusters? Who are they supposed to call? Who else are they supposed to call except for the FBI? Yes, of course they're going to contact the FBI. They're acting like contacting the FBI is a crime, some scandal. Like what? And as it turned out to be a pretty valid thing to contact them about because the FBI looked into it and dedicated a lot of resources to it, which seems like a weird thing to do if there was no there. Then she asked, how did you know who was testifying at Moakley Courthouse? Well, Gretchen, if you ask, sources. She thinks she wants me to be like, well, Alan Jackson told me. The grand juror told me. I had a source in it. No, it's really much simpler. I have a source who works in Moakley Courthouse and literally saw Jen McCabe in the lobby outside the area where the grand jury is held. So that's how I knew. And Reddington was there. So that's how I know. Mystery solved. It's called reporting. Then she asked me, is the source Jessica Leslie, the juror who was convicted and pled guilty to leaking information in regard to grand jury investigations that she was a part of, in which state troopers were bribed with gifts and money in exchange for commercial driver's license, CDLs, truck drivers, got their licenses that way. They investigated her. They found out that she told a friend, one friend about this. That friend messaged me on Twitter and said, I have a friend on a grand jury at Moakley, and they just indicted these people on this. And that's it. I didn't get any information about the Cannery grand jury. I wish I did. And if I've never spoken to Jessica Leslie in my life. The feds know this. They've investigated her. I was never quite, if the person that received this information from Jessica Leslie was visited by the feds, and they took her phone. Not me, because if Jessica Leslie had contacted me directly with this shit, the feds would have taken my phone. But she didn't. So I never spoke with Jessica Leslie. Then she said, were you trying to influence the jury pool? You said multiple times, that you're trying to influence the jury pool. I didn't say influence. I go, I was trying to educate the populace, Gretchen. Educating the populace is not a crime. The jury pool will come from the populace. So my goal was to educate them. Educating people is not a crime. It's just so crazy how their stated goal, like the crime that they claimed that I committed and that Karen Reed committed, that we conspired to commit, was educating the public. Did you tell them about the federal grand jury? Why? They can't know about that. Why are they so obsessed with making sure the public doesn't know things? I'm a fucking reporter. It's quite literally my job to make sure the public is informed of things. That's why I do this. That's crazy. I'm also an American citizen. I have the right to do this. We have the right to talk about shit. It's just so crazy. I pointed out to her, I was like, hey, you were at the rolling rally and you weren't arrested. And she's like, I was there as a reporter. Oh, I didn't know there was a distinction. Okay, cool. But there was 100 other or so people there too. None of them were arrested. And she agreed with that there was no other people arrested. Yeah. I go, well, so why was I arrested? Did you see any threats that day? This is when I started investigating her. It's like, did you see any threats? Gretchen Voss says, some of the extent of, I saw threats for sure. Really? What were the threats that you saw, Gretchen? And she said, the witness intimidation. Well, this is circular now. So they're saying it's witness intimidation. Why? Because of the threats. What were the threats? The witness intimidation. That doesn't answer. What was Gretchen Voss was there. She was there for every step of the way. We went out to lunch afterwards at the waterfall. It was lovely. She saw the lemonade stand with the kids. She saw that it was a peaceful event. She didn't witness a single threat, which is why she couldn't name a single threat. She just said, I swear to God, that was her answer. The witness intimidation. I bet you she doesn't put that in her story. Remember, as Pedro said. Remember. I want to find that. I need to get that clip. We need to just have that clip ready to go. Pedro Martinez, remember. Hold on. Whoa, that's loud. Pedro Martinez, remember. Hold on. This was it.
Oh, Villar is hammered.
Yeah, I pitch inside. And mentally, I'm going to crush you.
Villar, a very good hitter, playing first in DH and thriving the 0-1.
Do not hit my players.
And the pitch is hit him or hit his bat.
The main object was Jeter. Send them both in the same ambulance to the hospital.
Send them both in the ambulance. He wanted to send them both into the ambulance.
That one's over his head. Garcia didn't like it. And Garcia is not happy.
Martinez now pointing. That's a wrong thing to do.
Then Tuesday, I'll come sit on the dugout getting ready to go back out. Normally, guys, our everyday players won't sit next to me, but I'll have a guy that got hit.
They're not.
Oh, he doesn't say it. Hold on.
And have some trouble here this afternoon.
Remember. If you do one to me, remember.
There he goes.
Remember. If you do one to me,
Trouble here this afternoon.
remember. If you do one to me, remember.
Remember. Just remember this, okay? So remember. So she says, she then asked me, have you ever spoken to anyone at the U.S. Attorney's Office? And I'm like this fantasy in her head that I have a line that anyone in the U.S. Attorney's Office would ever talk to me. I'm like, no, I've never talked to anyone at the U.S. Attorney's Office, Gretchen. I'm gonna be like, yeah, actually, you got me, Gretchen. This is all a big conspiracy. Have you ever spoken to Adam Deitch? Well, he would be at the U.S. Attorney's Office, wouldn't he, dipshit? No, I've never spoken to Adam Deitch. Have you ever spoken to Dustin Chow? No. Dustin Chow is the guy whose wife used to work for the Norfolk County DA's office, and Morrissey, in one of his letters, suggested that the U.S. Attorney's Office should recuse itself from investigating his office because Dustin Chow's wife used to work for his office. That was his way of trying to weasel out of that. And somebody says, what if Gretchen lies in the article? Oh, I know the answer to that one. What if Gretchen lies in the article?
Trouble here this afternoon.
Remember. If you do one to me,
remember. What if Gretchen lies in the article? Remember. That's all. I never forget. Remember. Anyone asking that question? Remember. So it goes on to say, she asked me, Have you ever gotten an email from Dustin Chow? No, bitch. I don't talk to Dustin Chow. I don't know I barely know who that is. I just know he works for the U.S. Attorney's Office. Okay, I know about as much about him as you do. I wish I knew more. And then I gave her a lecture about how ridiculous it is that, like, I don't think she's going to put this in her article about how ridiculous she sounds about this. You know, how ridiculous she sounds about this. Like that. I'm like, you guys think that I framed you? Okay, that I set you guys all up. Yeah. Anyway, then she asks me, why do you think Adam Deitch will dismiss the charges against you? I go, well, first of all, Gretchen, he can't, because if he was elected, he wouldn't be inaugurated till January after my trial. So shit out of luck there. But why do I think he would drop the charges if he were the DA? I go, because he's ethical. Any ethical district attorney would drop the charges against me, because only an unethical district attorney would bring these charges to begin with, which is why no other county would take this on, which is why they tried to get the attorney general to take this case. They wouldn't do it. No one would do it because there was no witness intimidation. Yeah. Then she asked me, did Karen Reed tell you that she was in communication with the feds? I'm like, no, she didn't. She actually told me the exact opposite. I know as a fact, Karen Reed was not ever in communication with the feds because, first of all, she told me this. Secondly, she was represented by counsel. The United States Attorney's Office knows it's unethical for them to speak to someone who's represented by counsel, stupid. So there's that. Yeah. And then she was like, then she started pressing me about the recording, you know, and she goes, so her communication about you talking to the feds on that phone call that was leaked. So good job to 5150 leaking that phone call. Good job. And said, where she's yelling at you about her communications with Adam Deitch. I'm like, what? I'd have to, I go, can you play it for me? Can you play this quote for me? What are you talking about? I said that Karen Reed communicated directly with the feds? And I'm like, what? I go, can you give me the exact quote? This happened 4 or 5 times in the interview where she accused me. She goes, you were trying to, when she said I was trying to influence the jury pool, I'm like, you said you were influencing the jury pool. I'm like, can you give me the exact quote? And she, not once did she have a quote. And this is why she's not a good reporter, is because she came to this interview completely unprepared. When they do Trump interviews and they try to do gotchas on Trump, you best believe they got a bunch of his quotes ready to go. Like Megyn Kelly, when she had Trump at the debate stage, she was like, Mr. Trump, you have called women fat pigs. She had a list of shit. She was quoting him. And he was like, only Rosie O'Donnell, only Rosie O'Donnell. And she goes, that's not true. Everybody laughed. And she's like, that's not true. Actually, blah, blah, you know, she had fucking quotes in front of her, right? Gretchen had no quotes. She had nothing. She was confronting me with what I said. And every time I'm like, can you read me the quote of what like you're saying? I said this. Can you read it to me? Because I don't want to commit to something that I don't really even remember saying that. But can you like read it to me? And not once could she do it. She's wasting my time. No. Remember, everything is by design. Everything I do is by design. There is a reason I took this interview. And you will see. I'm really looking forward to the article coming out in August. Let's just put it that way. Really looking forward to it. And then she'll ask me, you know, she's like, do I think I intimidated witnesses? Oh, you got me, bitch. You got me. You know, like, what kind of question? Do you think you intimidated witnesses? No, of course I didn't intimidate witnesses. Stupid. I hope they put that in the article too. Stupid. And then it was my turn to ask questions. I go, Gretchen, did you do mushrooms with Kate Peta? And she goes, no. Well, that's not what was reported by Lindsay Gattani. Lindsay Gattani showed me messages. I go, did you ever interview Lindsay Gattani? And she goes, so she denied it. She flat out denied doing mushrooms. So I grilled her. I don't know if she's going to put that in the article. Okay. I don't know if she's going to put it in the article that I questioned her about that. But, you know, remember. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to put that in the article. And then she said, she asked, you know, I asked her, did you interview Lindsay Gattani? And she goes, no, that's not what she says. You never talked to her? And she goes, yeah, I've talked to her. Oh, so you talked to her, but it was an interview. Oh, what interest did you have in her? Where was she in Canton on January 29, 2022? What does she have to do with any of this? Why are you talking to her? What interest does she has nothing to do with the Karen. Judge Bellozo said that she has nothing to do with the Karen Reed case. So why are you talking to her? Or are you doing a story on the Karen Reed trial? You're talking to her. Well, what's she got to offer you? Huh? Like, what do you got to talk to her for? And when I said, I remember it distinctly, when I said that the federal government, I go, this is the story of a lifetime, this federal investigation story. That I go, you're very concerned with like how the public found out about the federal investigation. I'm more interested in the federal investigation. I find that fascinating as a journalist, that because this is unprecedented. This is never heard of before that this happened. And they were involved before I wrote about it. So it's completely independent of me, clearly. You know that if you have a timeline of this. I go, yeah. And like the federal government hired experts from ARCA who were independent and determined. And bro, she laughed. She laughed. I heard her fucking laugh. It was undeniable. Now, I don't think, something tells me she won't like put it in her article that she laughed. I'm gonna be looking out for that. If she puts in her article that I interviewed TurtleBoy about this and he laughed. But if she doesn't,
Trouble here this afternoon.
Remember, if you do one to me.
Remember. So then she says, I asked her, I go, do you think you picked a side in this? No. She said to me, I didn't pick a side. I go, do you think you have a bias? You don't think you have a bias towards the prosecution and the McAlberts? No, Aiden. I'm an independent reporter. Okay. Well, that's going to go. That's in my interview. I was also interviewing her. It's in my notes. So it's in my notes, Gretchen. Just know that. Okay. And, and I pointed out to her, I go, here, riddle me this, Gretchen. If Karen Reed was guilty of killing John O'Keefe with her car, why would she ask the FBI, who has unlimited resources, to investigate that? Because nobody from the state police didn't have a crash reconstructionist, right? So if Karen Reed really did it, why would she want, if she actually hit John O'Keefe with the car, why would she want experts from some company in Pennsylvania that is highly accredited to look into that? Why would she want them to do that? Like, has that thought gone through your head, Gretchen? Have you thought about that? Anyway, it's just crazy that a year after Karen Reed's acquitted, that this is what they're doing. They're still trying. They can't take the L, ladies and gentlemen. They just can't take it. They're having a tough time. So there's that. Also, last thing we'll talk about here, Rosemary Scarpiccio. Rosemary Scarpiccio. Okay. Scarpiccio. So let's get that. She tweeted this out today. Attachment B to Commonwealth versus Miles King. Second supplemental motion to dismiss has been released. Trigger warning. So let's pull this up. I have not seen these yet. This is my first look through of this. "99 messages and a bitch ain't one." Really creative there, Proctor. Good job, Chip. He's talking about Nirvana. All right. In Bloom is a personal favorite. The double standard reverse race. Oh my God. This double standard reverse racism that N-words get away with. Not black people. He couldn't just say black people. He had to say N-words get away with. Absolutely infuriates me. Infuriates him. He's very emotional. God forbid someone stands up for the victims in these stories and rallies for justice against the black perps. Then you would see Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton surface talking about how these N-words, other N-word, are a product of their environment and have been shunned by society and it wasn't their fault. F you. That's nice. All right. I got carried out of the Legion Thanksgiving morning, blacked out drunk. Whitey had an epic performance one year at that game. Okay. A sausage and egg croissant is the best sangy at Dunks. Horrible for you, but incredible. Okay. Globe's preseason has St. John's Prep, the #1 squad in the state. Of course, he's into that. And then Larry Kennedy. So Larry Kennedy is the husband of Meg Kennedy. This is very interesting. Meg Kennedy just was on a trip with Gemma Cave and Aruba. Meg Kennedy came to court a lot. Meg Kennedy was Sandra Birchmore's guidance counselor at Stoughton High School. And this is her husband. Hold on, I got to find this. Is this it? No, wrong pick. No. Here it is. So this is a message I saw on Twitter. So this chick, her name is Rachel. She's on Twitter, and she's taken an interest in the Sandra Birchmore case for a long time. And this is a message Meg Kennedy sent to her, and that's her husband, Larry Kennedy, in the profile picture. Okay. And he says, "Hi, Rachel. I just want to thank you for seeking justice for Sandra. I was Sandra's school adjustment counselor and spent time with her daily throughout her high school career." So this Meg Kennedy knows. She's Sandra Birchmore's guidance counselor. Sandra Birchmore was murdered by a police officer, and the murder was covered up by other police officers, including the same in the district attorney's office that knows full well by now that he murdered her, which they're still denying. And they're covering it up. And so TV Daily News, I wrote about Meg Kennedy back in the day. She was in one of my earliest Can Cover-Ups. I think it's Can Cover-Up Part 2. Yeah, this is it. So Meg Kennedy writes me this message the day that I wrote. So I announced at 6 p.m. on August 17th that I was writing the story, looking into it, and that I believed I was definitely taking the same position as the defense. Okay. And this is what Meg Kennedy writes to me. What time did she write this? Does it say 8:11 p.m.? So the night before I write my story, Jen McCabe's friend, Sandra Birchmore's guidance counselor, is trying to prevent me from writing the story. And this is what she tells me. The defense is creating reasonable doubt by releasing false narratives to the media, in the media. And there are people that chose to stay in her social circle and are choosing to spread this narrative. So she's talking about Tom Beatty and others. She's like blaming the Beatties. This is what they were doing. Like they were so, I got the night before I published this article, I got messages from 3 people trying to stop me from writing the story. Meg Kennedy, Chris Albert, and Jill Daniels. All 3 of them messaged me before I hit publish. All 3 of them knew who I was, followed me, agreed with me normally, knew the influence that I had, knew that I was very effective in communicating, and they did not want me writing the story. So on Jennifer McCabe's behalf, Meg Kennedy contacts me and says the defense is creating reasonable doubt by releasing false narratives to the media. And there are people that chose to stay in her social circle, Tom Beatty she's talking about, and are choosing to spread this narrative. The truth will come out during the trial. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. The truth will come out from Dr. La Posada, who testified under oath that Johns did not have hypothermia, that he was not hit by a car. The truth will come from Dr. Rentschler, who says that John's injuries could not have possibly come from a motor vehicle collision. The truth will come from Dr. Wolf, who said that the damage to the Lexus LX570 is inconsistent with the motor vehicle strike. The truth will come from Dr. Marie Russell, who testified that the scratches and bites on John's arm came from a dog. The truth did come out. The truth will come out from the plow driver, Lucky Loughran, who testified that there was no body on the front lawn at 2:30. The truth will come out. The truth did come out. The truth will come from Dighton Police Sergeant Nicholas Barrows, who testified that when he observed Karen Reed's vehicle in Bill Reed's house at 4:15 on January 29th, 2022 p.m., that it was not in the same condition as it was afterwards, after it came into possession of Michael Proctor. All of that. So she's 100% right. The truth will come out, and it did come out. But not before ruining innocent people's lives. Please do not feed into the defense strategy. Listen to the way she's talking to me. Please. What do you mean, please? That word please, when she's saying please don't, like she is pleading with me. Please don't write this story. We know the power that you have. We know how fucking good you are at this. We know that people are going to believe you. And we don't want that. They weren't messaging Krusty and being like, hey, can you take up our position? No, they wanted me. How does that make Krusty feel? Meg Kennedy, Chris Albert, and Jill Daniels, they wanted me on their side. They all tried to stop this from happening because they recognized just how influential my voice was, just how powerful I am with the truth. They got that. I mean, look at the way, please. She says, please don't do it. Please don't feed into, please don't tell the public the truth. The other side can't defend themselves without compromising their case. How so? That turned out to be a complete lie. There's nothing. There was no Jessica Hyde. There was no Ian Whiffen. Compromise the case. How would they compromise the case? How? Tell me. And then she hides behind the O'Keefe. The O'Keefe family's hurting enough. The lies are directly hurting the kids. Brings up doxing semen and children. It blows my mind that lawyers can blatantly make up stories in court documents in communicating with the O'Keefe family and the witnesses. So she's already contacted the O'Keefes and the witnesses and asked them, have you guys talked to TurtleBoy? And what did they say? It seems like you contacted anyone with, it doesn't seem like you contacted anyone with firsthand knowledge from the prosecution side. Unless you know the families involved and live in Canton. So you have to know the McAlberts or live in Canton to know how absurd these new and unfounded allegations are. Well, a woman by the name of Rita Lombardi, a gentleman by the name of Sean Colburn, one by the name of Kathleen Howley, a whole bunch of other people in Canton. They all read the same shit I did. They all live in Canton. They're all pretty. Like this is why we call it a cover up. This message from Meg Kennedy is what a cover up looks like. She is trying to cover up the truth. She is trying to prevent a reporter from telling the truth. Ken Berkowitz contacted a reporter from Boston 25 News on February 1st, 2022, and asked him to take down a tweet that mentioned Brian Albert's name because he was a pillar of the community. We don't want it out there that this happened at his house. It's going to smear him. We don't want that. These people try hard. They tried so hard to silence the truth, to prevent this from coming out. And that made me want to press back harder. Don't try to silence people. You have to live in Canton to know how absurd these new allegations are. They seem pretty legit to me. And listen to what she says. I am praying you do not buy this police cover-up Lifetime movie nonsense. Yeah, it did turn into a Lifetime movie, didn't it, bitch? It's an episode, isn't it? I'm praying. Just listen to the words she used. I'm praying. Please. These are words you use if you like me. Those are words you use if you're like, I respect this guy. I followed him before, and I pray to God he doesn't take the side of Karen Reed. I pray to God he's on our side. She's praying. She is praying that I would be on her side. She's a McAlbert. She is praying that I would be on her side. She wasn't praying for Krusty. She wouldn't give a fuck if Krusty talked about it. No, they wouldn't give a shit. But she knew I mattered, and she was praying I would not do it. And then I did it anyway. And I go, you feel dumb now? Stop simping for murderers. Nope, not at all. I know the real story, and so does the family. And I go, what's that? What's the real story? Because this is what they would always tell me. And I'm like, oh, tell me the real story. I'd always ask them this. They're like, you never reached out to them, to the other side, for their story. Well, every time I ask them what their story is, we can't talk. We have to wait till trial. Well, that's not much of a story, is it? What's your story? What's your side of the story? The other side has the right to remain silent, and they have a story. You don't seem to have a story. And she goes, I'm not at liberty at the moment. Ongoing case. Oh, okay, you don't have a story. You don't have Jessica Hyde yet, right? You don't have Ian Whiffen yet. You haven't found somebody who's willing to be paid to lie for you yet. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Just know the O'Keefe family knows Karen is guilty and is standing behind the parties that you are accusing. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about what the retarded O'Keefe family thinks. I don't care. That means nothing to me. That's not a fact. That's not evidence. Peggy O'Keefe blindly falling for bullshit is not evidence of anything. Sorry. That's unfortunate, but not my problem. Doesn't affect me at all. So this is Canton Cover Up Part 6 out of 551. Stoughton Public Schools. There she is. Yeah. Okay. She attended several days of the trial. Do we have another one? Oh, Can't Cover Up Part 25. She was in that too. Or no? No. She was in the yearbook one. The one I did on the yearbook. Oh. The yearbook project. Yeah. Can't Cover Up Part 172. The yearbook project. This was a fun article I did. And this is an underrated, this is journalism. Like, did Karen Reed hand me the story? No. I decided that I was going to go through every fucking yearbook in Canton High School history and put together a chart and a list of who graduated with who from what year to show just how connected these people are. This is journalism. And a lot of stuff in this article was used by the defense because it was factual. 75, Tom Theodore, Board of Selectmen, who's on the board at the Canton Club too, that hosted the white supremacist rally. McDonough, if I just gave him up, this would all be solved. John Connolly, oh my God. There he is. Nick Moratis, fucking homo, as he called me, fucking homo. There's Michelle Reardon, the oldest. I thought she was a lesbian sister of Jennifer McCabe. Okay. And the guy who owns By the Yard, which was the dummy corporation that Michael Proctor claimed plowed 34 Fairview Road instead of Lucky Loughran. Oh, then you got Denise Galvin. There she is there. Brian Wanless, the taillight guy. Or the, not taillight guy, the guy that owned the shop. And Gallagher. Where's Gallagher? There's Gallagher. Gallagher. All of them. Of course, they all went to Canton High. Charles Duty, Helena Rafferty. All these people graduated the same year. Yeah, oh my God, look at Helena. There's Charles Duty, the town manager. Right. Oh, then Zavarian High School, you got Big Bad Brian Albert. Thanks, Mom, Dad, Gramps. Couldn't have done it without you. It's my turn. Yeah, wrestling. I love wrestling. Favorite saying, bring it to me. Settle down. Okay. Went to Canton High School with BT and CC to discipline JG. Right, we're disciplining him. 25 Fairview Road. He lived on Fairview Road. What the fuck? There's Big Bad Brian Albert. Bill Burr graduated from there, threw him in there. Tom Kelleher lived across the street from Nicole Albert. There she is, Nicole Weeks. Ring camera didn't work, of course. 89, Zavarian. We got Chris Albert. There he is. And we got 89 from Canton High School same year. You got Steve Seraph, Michael Loughran, and this is Steve Seraph. Jesus Christ. Oh. Then you got Michael Lanka. There he is. And of course, look at like this. It's not the perfect Lanka picture. And of course, Lucky Loughran, full head of hair back in the day. Love it. You got Kevin Albert. There he is. In 91. 92, there's a Keith Albert. 94, you had 94 was a big year. Okay. 94 had Brendan Albert, another Albert brother, Julie Albert, Meg Kennedy, Mary Albert, who married Kevin Albert. So Mary Teague and Julie Daniels are high school friends. And Jen McKay and Jen Weeks. I mean, think how crazy this is. Look at those three names. Jen Weeks, Mary Teague, and Julie Daniels. And Meg Kennedy. Okay. They're all friends. Who do they marry? Julie Daniels marries an Albert named Chris Albert. Mary Teague marries an Albert named Kevin Albert. Jen Weeks got stuck with Chubbs McCabe, but she became Albert adjacent when her sister Nicole married an Albert. Like, and this is such a good article, the yearbook project that I did, because it shows how incestuous these people are, right? And it shows that the entire police department graduated from Canton High School. These people have known each other their entire lives. And Karen Reed was a complete fucking outsider. And you're like, wow. It's like their goal is to marry a fucking Albert. Like, it was like, because these were the cool kids in school. These were the pretty girls, believe it or not. Yeah, there's Brendan Albert. There's Julie Daniels. There's she was a looker. Okay. There's Mary Teague, now known as Mary Albert. There's Horseface. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah. And isn't this fucking perfect? Isn't this the funniest picture? This is in their yearbook. That's Julie Albert being muzzled by Jennifer McCabe. Is there better? Have you ever seen anything better than that? Tell him the guy never came in the house. Shut up. Don't talk. Cover your mouth. That is the perfect fucking picture. So yeah. Anyway, so that's who Meg Kennedy is. Now, her husband, Larry Kennedy, I'm told, is the gentleman messaging with Michael Proctor about the N-word. So I have some questions for Meg Kennedy about her husband, Larry. Did you know about this? Because I thought the whole thing with Proctor is like, they're like wiping their hands clean of Proctor. Oh, no. Yeah, he's a scumbag for sure. But the McAlberts are good people. Well, it seems like we have a connection now between the McAlberts and Proctor, and that is Meg Kennedy. Because Meg Kennedy and Jen McCabe, they've known class of 94. They're best pals. Good friends still, to this day. Yeah. St. John's best player transferred, and I was at the Legion. Beat everyone in a 50-yard dash. What? I am hot 80% of the time, regardless of weather. Sure you are. Usually do iced coffee when I am hung balls. Hot venti from Starbucks and a fat-ass Kodiak after. Menino is right. Detroit should be destroyed, along with places like Flint, Michigan. They are breeding grounds for N-words to run wild. That was 2013, I believe, when Proctor was going through the academy, or about to go through. And what does Larry Kennedy say in response? Oh, no, is this Sean Good? This is a new conversation. This is Sean Good. He just says, yes, I think so too. Protesters are saying police. Oh, yeah, so Larry Kennedy and Sean Good are on this. Protesters are saying heavy police presence is arrogant and disrespectful. Proctor says, there's a lot of people on this chat. Hammer, Larry Kennedy, Trendy, Leahy, Fargo, Kevin Foley, Good, Cookie, and Foley. And says, I was planning on tying up an N-word and dragging him from my bumper through the streets of Randolph. He says this in 2016 when he was a trooper. Larry Kennedy says, Spike Lee, how is it possible for the second consecutive year all 20 contenders under the actor category are white? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I don't think Proctor's going to like that. Apparently, not all Black Lives Matter. We ride solo and always ride solo. Stupid? Probably, but can't staff 2 troopers. All cops will be targets, says Larry Kennedy. He's a real victim. Let's get some horses and white sheets and burn across in the Arboretum. That's nice. I hope, oh my goodness, this is a new one. I hope she gets graped in the brass by a gang of 300-pound triggers. That's nice. That's lovely. And he sends that to a whole group of people. And then Kevin Foley says, mega trigger box. Hey, N-word, go fetch Bear his wings and pizza. Ha ha ha. And Larry, oh, we got Larry Kennedy saying, ha ha ha. That's funny. Slavery is funny. Go be Bear's servant. Best thing I've heard in a real long time. He loves that. Oh, bro. Larry Kennedy has some questions to answer. Wow. 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 You're going to have to write a story about this tomorrow, I think. Evening, dickholes, Proctor says. I feel I need to weigh in on the movie debate here. I agree 100% with Good on the Chestnut Hill Super Lux level. I'll never see a movie anywhere else. No N-words, obnoxious kids, and ample room to spread out and float some air biscuits. Huh? Great menu and prompt service. Hey, Leahy, how would you feel about a potato famine wiped out its people? Being wiped out by a potato would be embarrassing. Now he's crapping on the Irish? Bro, leave the Irish alone, will you? We've been through enough. We've been through enough. Goes on to say, haha, Michael, we could use them triggers as dartboards. That's a new one. Larry Kennedy says, I would love that. A perfect world. So a perfect world is one in which black people are used as dartboards. That's nice. It should be punch an N-word day in Canton today out of retribution and shine. Any shine you see, blast it in the face. Oh. Okay. N-words smell regardless. Okay. Probably smells like a hockey glove. Leahy, didn't you bone a booger from Nobles? What? Bone a booger? Is that a racial slur? I don't even know. The first phone call that kid will make when a fellow N-word broke into his house or car is to the cops. A river runs through it is still my favorite. Oh, that's random. Holla boys. Hammer, those blueberry donuts have been around since we were Cubs. Blueberry cake donuts, they are awesome. Pendy, I haven't shot anyone, but I did pull an N-word over today for tossing a cigarette out of his window. This is in 2014 when he was definitely a state trooper. So if Bear is out, we need another, possibly 2 more if Leaf flakes. I could ask my brother-in-law if you guys approve. Eat a dick, Ghana. Okay. Oh, you know what this was? It says 6/16/2014. Eat a dick, Ghana. Let's enslave those N-words. My car needs a cleaning. And I just looked at the date on that. I'm going to look something up right now. 6/16, right? June 16th. You know what I think that was? I was right. You guys know what that's in reference to? Do you know why he's saying eat a dick, Ghana, randomly? Like, let's enslave those triggers. My car needs a cleaning. What do you guys think? Let's see if the chat can get this right. Why was Proctor saying it? Oh, somebody already got it. Yeah. I Googled it. June 16th, 2014. The United States men's national team defeated Ghana 2-1. So Proctor celebrated a World Cup win for the United States, who he wanted to lose in World War II, and said, eat a dick, Ghana. Let's enslave those triggers. My car. That's one way to celebrate a World Cup win, I suppose. That's not how I recall my celebration going. I was like, wow, big win. Ghana's no joke. Ghana tied England today, folks. Ghana's legit. Ghana beat Panama. They're good. Ghana might win that group of gonorrhea. Great game. Says, oh, so okay, so what? So that is all right. I mean, so that's the appropriate way to handle it. Somebody says, good Shez says, computer share is a ton of telemarketers that work midnight shifts, and most of them are non-white. So now they have eighth home. Oh, great. Now the N-words have a straight pipeline to Canton. God, they deserve access to good jobs too, guys. Yeah, I'm sure that's Larry Kennedy's like, see, I'm the good guy. I think he's being facetious. Bear is headed to Brookfield. Bear, he talks in the third person like this. Bear is headed to Brookfield. What's that guy from Seinfeld? It's always a Seinfeld reference. They're talking, Jimmy. Jimmy's going to Brookfield. Jimmy's this. Jimmy's that. George is getting upset. Bear is headed to Brookfield, being reassigned there. Gonna tip the shit out of some cows. So Brookfield is by me. It's in central Massachusetts. There's a state police barracks out there, and he got reassigned there. He actually found a woman, a mentally challenged girl walking through the woods in 2015. Proctor did. There's a picture of him. He found her in the woods. So he actually did something decent, but he's still a piece of shit. Not forgotten by me. Bear, I was thinking last week, ton of great tunes. I'd love to see him live. 2 park rangers stabbed in Boston Common. Has to be the work of an N-word. Has to be. Which is utter bullshit that these N-word animals resort to that. I'd rather a coon. I'd just shoot the N-word or scare him off by telling him he has to work. Oh, you're so funny. This is in what year? This is 2018. He says this. Ha ha, says someone. Cookie says that. Kenner, these N-words are holding signs for you at the All-Star game. You okay? Foley says, Apenomics, a financial system run by N-words by which a prosperous nation is converted into a cesspool of poverty and misery. Teen Apers. Mike, this site is your interest heaven for new terms. It's incredible. And shares some racist website, I think. About whatever. I don't even know. And then 2020, DC Drano, he shares a DC Drano tweet. It says, sickening. I wouldn't police the black neighborhoods. Honestly, let them do it themselves. Police never go near these neighborhoods in Chicago. You would know. Let them kill each other, says Foley. When the last slaves were freed, they make it sound like there were millions of slaves. Only 5% of whites had slaves. Yeah, that's true. But slavery is still bad. Hot take. Even the fact that only 5% owned slaves doesn't make slavery good. That's only because they couldn't afford them. My question, what country treats blacks as well as America? That's what Larry Kennedy says. What country offers them a better quality of life? Well, I don't know, sir. I don't know what you're getting at. I think I know what you're getting at. But I don't know. Netherlands? I don't fucking know. You'd have to ask a black person in another country. I mean, I'm not black. I can't comment on it. I don't fucking know. But it's just odd question for Larry Kennedy to ask there. I agree 100%, says Larry Kennedy. They're doing this in the O'Bannon trial. Some former player from Alabama is doing the same thing, complaining that he took cream puff classes. My only questions is, are the players making these accusations not accountable? And then Kevin Foley just chimes in. He's like, I hate N-words. Oh, he just couldn't help himself. Even Omar Little? Hey, leave Omar out of this. I bet they will be armed by the year's end. One is in critical condition, Good says. Bear, go get the N-word and string him up. What kind of asshole stabbed 2 park rangers? They just want to protect the trees. Foley says, rocket N-word. A N-word attached to a rocket who flies around stealing stuff like cars, basketballs, fried chicken, and people's legs. Okay? Haha. How about this? Good. Sean Good says, because if they charge him, he will be found not guilty because there is no evidence to convict him. And I feel they will riot worse if they get dragged through a lengthy court procedure. I think they're talking about Darren Wilson there. They're definitely talking about Darren Wilson there. Darren Wilson is the guy who shot Michael Brown in self-defense. That was like a legitimate case of self-defense. Like Darren Wilson did nothing wrong. And, Michael Brown tried to steal a gun from a cop. That's what the evidence in that case shows. And that's why a grand jury did not indict Darren Wilson, and they rioted over that. Right? There were the Ferguson riots. That's the start of all this shit. Michael Brown. But it's interesting that Good says if they charge Wilson, he will be found not guilty because there is no evidence that convicts him. It's interesting that he says this in light of Karen Reed because so he knows that a lack of evidence will get someone off for murder, right? He knows that. And this is what I'm saying is these people, I believe that people like Sean Good and Michael Proctor thought Karen Reed did it initially. And that's why they didn't have qualms about planting taillight. Why? Because they know that if there's not evidence and not enough evidence, then you won't be convicted. That's a really interesting text because it shows that police know that a lack of evidence can lead to someone being acquitted. And this is why police plant shit. Because if they think you're guilty, then they're like, yeah, well, what does it matter if we plant fucking taillight? She's guilty, right? So what does it matter? We don't want to see her walk free, do we? That's it. N-words will riot no matter what the outcome is. Yeah, Kevin Foley doesn't give a shit. Whatever the course of action is, these N-words will riot. Oh. You can just say black people. It's still pretty racist if you say black people. You don't have to say N-words. Even 3-year-old N-words are terrible humans. Oh, that's nice. And it says, I want to be famous. Yeah, you are now. Shoot a spook, says Larry Kennedy, the husband of Stoughton High School adjustment counselor Meg Kennedy. Famous. Not famous because I shot somebody. Okay. These animals are smashing up police stations in Ferguson again. Off-duty cop killed 18-year-old black kid that opened fire on police during chase. What? Let the sand N-words kill each other. They can push around the West, but Jordan proved they won't take their shit. Now we need Saudi Arabia and Egypt to get involved. Look at them all being all worldly. I thought the chant was hilarious. Me too. College kids being college kids. Easily could have been us any weekend we're together. Oh, I bet. I don't know what it was, but a fight, an N-word and a white. Whites don't win. We all jump in. We all said it as kids. Hashtag die N-word day. Oh, that would be a great holiday, says Fargo. This is just insane. I cannot believe this is that's crazy, dude. Yeah, I don't have any group chats like that. If you start talking like that in my group chat, things are going to get awkward real quick between the rest of if somebody sends that in a group chat that I'm in, you know what's going to happen? No one's going to respond, and it's going to be real awkward. Like I'm not going to be. I wouldn't be responsive like, hey, Larry Kennedy, listen, Bear, this is not very woke of you. Okay, you need to stop using the racial slurs. I'm not going to do that. If I was in a group chat and somebody started just dropping N-bombs like that, I'd probably just leave the group chat, or most likely I would just look at it and be like, and then I would start a subgroup chat with everybody in that group chat except for the person using the N-word. And I'd be like, bro, is this guy for real? Is this guy for real? What? Whoa, that got crazy. That escalated quickly. That's what I would do. Because you've all done that before, where you're in the group chat and then one person in the group chat says some crazy shit. And then you start a subgroup chat with everybody except for that one person. And you're just like, so that was nuts, right? So that was fucking crazy, right? So what's up with that? And then everyone else in the group chat's like, thank you. Oh my God. Holy shit. Like that was crazy. He just went full N-word. Like that's wild. Like that's crazy. That's exactly what I would do. I would do the subgroup chat without Bear. And then I would name the group chat without Bear. Just so I know that this is the safe one where we could talk shit about Bear in this group chat. You know? It's like everybody's got the side group chat where you just have one less person than the other group chat, you know? Sometimes you have to do that for like family shit. for birthdays and stuff. If you're like planning something with someone in the group chat, it's in the family, and then you don't want them to know. There's some shit like that, So yeah. Anyway, so there's that. So that's pretty crazy. All right. Let me read some turtle chats to end the night here. Let's see what we got.